Welcome to Shooting the Shift with Marilyn and Elizabeth. These light warriors, both native New Yorkers, walk their walk, talk their talk, and keep the real in the deal. This dynamic duo joined forces to assist you through your transformational journey one step at a time, empowering you with spiritual tools you can use in your daily life. Each show begins as a conversation creating an opening for spiritual connection. There are never any scripts, and Spirit is always illuminating the way. And that's when the shift hits the fan. The magical messages of the ancestors, spirit guides, and Gaia are respected, honored, and always given sacred space to communicate. Join Marilyn and Elizabeth as they shake shift up and do what they do best, speak from their hearts.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this little rock in the universe we call Earth. We're grateful that you're listening to us. This is Elizabeth and Miss Marilyn.
Yeah, I'm here.
She's here.
I'm ready.
So I'm going to throw out the phone number because we'd love for people to call in if they need help with their next step or they just need help with their vision moving forward on what they want to bring in or anything. We're totally open and here and ready to be of service and guidance and support if we can. So our number is 570-7057 and the area code is 202-570-7057. So, Miss Marilyn, I'm here in a winter wonderland. I've got my little kitty Mojo on the left of me and a pile of snow in front of me. And it's 9 degrees in Colorado, but we are so excited because we desperately need the moisture. We are in a huge drought. I'm sure you heard about some of the fires we've had. And so you're not going to hear me complain about the snow. So it's beautiful and sunny today, and, I think when you get towards the end of January, I have heard from one of my favorite astrologers that this could be the slowest week of the year, now through next Monday. So it kind of makes sense. The snow comes and it does a nice little blanket. It makes things kind of quiet. I saw somewhere, I don't remember where, like everything looks prettier when the snow blanket's on it. It's true.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this is kind of the last week of the month. And it is also, I feel like February, once Venus goes direct and Mercury starts going direct in February, things are going to start picking up and going faster. And that feeling of anticipation that we were talking about last week, I think that there's going to be some clarity coming in and some feeling the pace picking up. So that's what I've been feeling. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it feels to me like there's a lot of shifting taking place. Some of us are able to recognize it and to work with it. And then there are those of us who are having difficulty, in shifting or understanding or acknowledging or, just understanding what it is that's happening, right? And it's a beautiful time right now to be able to, and that's why we're here, so that people can call us, can reach out, can say, I am feeling this, or just saying, how can I shift this? And you don't even have to identify the what it is. Just sometimes if you're feeling a certain way and you know that it's not for your highest and greatest good, and sometimes we need help, right? Sometimes we just do. I mean, it's very difficult sometimes in, doing it all by ourselves and knowing that there are others out here like us who can just, be present and help others to shift the energy that they're in. I think it's a beautiful, thing to be available. I
can't tell you how many things you've shifted for me, Miss Marilyn. I mean, that juju you do, and you're amazing. And, sometimes we get stuck in our own stuff, and we need somebody to find the little string and help us unravel ourselves,
Yeah, it's the thread, right? It's the
Yeah.
thread.
Yeah, and I wanted to read something that just resonated with me. It's not very unlike me to do this. It's very random, but somebody named Susan Grace, who is an astrologer on Facebook, and I've never even seen her before, but this resonated with me so much. I'm just going to read it. Even if you feel tired, real hard, you wouldn't be able to go back. Even if you tried, sorry, real hard, you wouldn't be able to go back an old way to an old way of being. The old way was how you got through what had to be endured. We're not staying in that frequency of simply pushing through and enduring. It doesn't make sense anymore. It's like you've developed a systematic allergy to it. Where do you go from here? Your answer at the moment is, I don't know. You need to sit in the in-between more. You need to understand what will and will not work for you in the long term of your life. It's not a race. Take your time. And I
Yeah.
really needed to hear that, right? That's why I'm
Yeah.
sharing it, because that's what we're talking about. Somebody's perspective, her words summed up exactly what I've been feeling, very simply. And yeah, I just want to remind people that if they would like to call in, they can call us at 202-570-7057. And we just started taking calls last week, and that was fun. It was our very first time. And so let's talk about these energies a little bit, Marilyn.
Yeah, as we're talking, I feel called to read something that I wrote in my journal, and this was January the 12th. And it has to do with uncertainty, right? And so it's written uncertainty, and then it says it's a struggle if you fear it. If you use it as a reason to not move forward, if it becomes your reason or your filter for your life decisions. Uncertainty is and always will be a part of life. We will all have moments where we aren't certain of the outcome. It may feel frightening, because it's a different level, yes? Yet we must remember to feel our way through the feelings, determine if they are valid. In other words, if it is real fear, right? And if there is no real danger present, do it. Just do it. The overthinking brain may tell you differently, but your heart will lead you through it. Your heart will lead you through it. Your gut, right, as well, right, will lead you through it. And I thought that this is a really important word, right? Because uncertainty in our lives at times creates this fear, right? This fear of the unknown, and it just stifles us and sometimes holds us hostage and doesn't allow us to be present in our lives, because we're still like going through all the past experiences. The brain just takes over, and it starts just putting out all the reasons why you shouldn't do something, right? And then the thing is, now we got to navigate those waters and figure out, is this real? Like, is this information real? Or is this just from my past experiences? And things could be different this time, right? Depending on how it is that it's showing up for me now. Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, what you're saying, I think right now in particular, I know I and many of my clients and friends are all feeling a bit like, it's difficult to want to stay present. And I think it's hard in January in particular for us to stay present because sometimes it's the holidays are over, it's cold most places, there's not a lot to look forward to. But particularly now in these 2 years, I mean, it is shocking to me that we are at the 2-year mark of COVID. And all of us are itching to get out, itching to get on, itching to move forward, feeling like we've been held in place. You know, most of us. I'm not going to put everyone in the same bucket, but I know for me, I'm planning to finally get to the UK in June, and that has been a 2-year trip in the making. And so it's like, well, do I get excited? Do I put all my eggs in one basket? You know, is the rug going to be pulled out from under me? And you know what? I came to the conclusion of the rug can always be pulled out from under you. Things can always go wrong. There can always be a wrench, or you have to adapt or be flexible. But I'm like an all-in girl. I can't go like my left foot's in, my right foot's out, I'm blah, blah, blah. You know, I got to be all in. So I am fully committed and announcing on these airways that I am getting my butt to the UK in June.
Right. It's all about your focus and your feeling, right? And if we get excited over it and we really bring up a momentum, right, where we are in a frequency that, come on, we're in this frequency of all things are working for us, right? Yes. Not against us, but for us. Yes. They're happening for us. Yes. So when we're in that frequency and in that, we're showing up in that vibration, right? It's the frequency, right, that carries us into this vibration that then we are, how would I say, present, right? That people feel that vibration, right? That's moving through us, through that frequency of excitement, through the frequency of knowing that, yeah, this is going to be an exciting time for me. And yes, I'm taking that leap of faith because I trust my process. And I always, you know, I've continuously say I trust my process. I trust my process because when I'm able to do that, then beautiful things start to happen in my life. And it's when I'm in doubt of the process, right? When I'm questioning the process, when I am, you know, even probably rejecting sometimes, right? That things don't fall into place as they should, right? Or as we would love them to, right? So it's so important for us to stay in that energetic frequency of knowing when we are on the right path to continue. You know, don't go into that fear-based place of now what, you know, like I've achieved this. Now someone's going to take it from me, or somebody's going to make it harder for me, or it's going to be really difficult now for me. You know, it's new waters that we're navigating, and we should be excited and saying, yes, I'm in and I'm doing this. And, you know, I'm going to, you know, do something that I've been wanting to do for so many years. And now I'm putting myself out there. Right? No more, you know, tiptoeing into the testing the waters, right? We're tippy-toeing. Oh, it's too cold. Oh, maybe not this time. And then we back up. No, plunge. Take the plunge. Just do it. Just do it.
You're making me laugh. You're giving me the image of Eddie Murphy saying it's too hot in the hot tub when he was doing what's his name? Oh my gosh, what is that? The name of that musician? Oh my gosh, it went right out of my head. Never mind. So yeah, I think it's really hard too because for me, I've been processing my vision, right? Like, what is my vision? And I'm not in details. I'm not in this has to happen or that has to happen or I weigh this or I look like this or my hair is, you know, I'm not in specifics, but I'm really trying to be so simple. And I found that it's more difficult to be simple than it is to have all those details because you get down to the nuts and bolts. And this morning I did a meditation and it was like, what is my heart's prayer? And what does my soul want for this year? Right? So the two things I came up with very clearly was my soul's prayer is love. everything love, self-love, love of the world, compassion for others, all of that. Very, very simple. But I wept. And it was beautiful. I mean, it was really healing. And then when I looked at my what does my soul want for the year? And it was break through, break free. Yeah. You know, whatever's coming, it's anticipation and excitement. It's not dread. It is something that you're going to break into, come into. And that was really clear to me. So I would just say out there to the people that are listening to us that the biggest thing moving forward with your vision is how do you want to feel? Yeah. Because if you don't have the specifics or you have too many specifics and you're getting caught up in that, the universe understands the frequency and the feeling of what you want. Not, you know, I want a blue car, a convertible, a Mercedes-Benz, like that. And that is fun, but that is not manifesting in my humble opinion.
Yeah. And if you say, I want a red car, and you start to get really specific about it, but then there's that part of you that says, I'll never have that car. That car will never be mine. That car, it just isn't for me. I would never be able to obtain that.
It's unattainable.
Then it is unattainable. Yeah, it is unattainable. You will not have that. Whatever it is that you're wanting, right? Yes, whatever it is that you're wanting, if you are inside, right? And I call it, you know, it's the inside voice, right? It's that voice that dictates your decision making, right? And what it is that you're believing. And it's so important to recognize what it is that you're believing, because what it is that you're believing actually is the creator, right? That you have put that creative ability in that space, and now that is dictating the rest of your life. Until you go into that space and say, hold on. I don't believe that anymore. That's not what I believe. And that, you know, that was
some
old.
of it is just sweeping out stuff that's not even
we just have to
anymore.
Clean everything out, just like we clean the closets and we clean the house and we clean out all different types of areas. We have to do some internal cleaning, right? Yeah. Moving stuff out. Yeah.
Well, I'm doing that every which way anyway. So, all right, listen, we have to go off to a break, but we do want to let you guys know that we are taking calls today, and it's what we love to do.
Yeah,
and
the number is
202-570-7057.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
welcome back to Shooting the Shift. I'm Elizabeth, and I'm here with my cohort and host, Marilyn. Hello, Marilyn.
Hi.
Okay, so we were going off to the air and we were talking about the uncertainty and being in the feeling of having, not wanting. And I do think it's so important, we do cover the same kind of information almost every week in one way or another, because that's the information that's coming through and that's the information people need to hear, including myself. And, I can only share from my own personal experiences what's going on with how I'm feeling with the energies. And right, Marilyn?
Yes.
So, I gotta say, I feel like it took me almost all of January to get excited about anything. And I had the blues, the holiday blues, post-holiday blues, and I think I was so excited to get going, and then I realized, well, you know what? There's some time to stay in the present. There's still a little bit of stuff you need to, I just had a visual. Dorothy's Yellow Brick Road, and you just had to sweep off some of the leaves and the stuff to get it all sparkly and clear your path, right? That's a good visual. I'm such a metaphor visual girl, and I can't help but think that was my mama helping me out, because she always brings in the Oz references for me. So, yeah, I would like to find me some sparkly red shoes. But I really don't want to look like I'm 4 in sparkly red shoes. They're going to have to be very stylish, right? But I feel like I'm getting ready to put that foot out on the road. It's just not right just yet.
Yes.
And I want to say to people, if you're struggling with being grounded or you're struggling with being present, I have a joke, and it's not my joke. Somebody else told me this a long time ago, or a form of it. But when I recommend to people, well, you really should consider, I hate should, you might consider sitting down and meditating for 15 minutes a day in whatever way works for you, because meditation works different for everybody. And when people say, well, I just don't have time for that, and I say, well, then you should do that for 30 minutes a day.
Yes.
So if you're having a hard time being in your body, staying present, being in the energy of right now, I would recommend do whatever you can to get into the energy of right now and be present, because there's something there for you. That's what I feel.
And if you can't sit in your own energy, it's because there's an old story that is still vibrating, that it still has a frequency that is still strong and potent. And and until you're able to sit with that, right? When you sit with that, you will start to have an opening. Like we need sometimes to have that experience of opening so that we can see. Like sometimes people say, oh, that was a very uncomfortable experience for me. And so what they do is they lock themselves down, all the emotions, the full experience. But there's medicine in that experience. There's a teaching in that experience. And the only reason why you can't obtain that teaching and that, that medicine is simply because it's all wrapped up with all the emotional supercharges and fear of allowing that energy to just move. We don't have to hold on to things. It's okay for us to be able to say, I just will open up and allow, right, what needs to happen, and I will get out of my own way so that I can stay in a healthier state of being. Because I speak from experience. I'm not speaking from, I've learned this, in my life, and having to dive inward and taking a look at, the reasons why I was believing or feeling the way I was feeling, and then following it down to what it was that I was truly believing that was holding me in that space and not allowing me to move. as I needed to in moments when I knew that I needed to move. The fear of that, exposing that to even myself, was too big, right? Because I would have thought, I don't know if I can handle that. I mean, I don't know. It's so old, it's so, it's not, how would you say, it's not tamed in a way, right? And so you pushed it down because it was too frightening at the time, and you couldn't, manage it any other way. But it's time now. 2022 is a year where we are going to do a lot of self rediscovering of the self. And it is so important to recognize that, because what will happen is, if we don't become aware of that, then we're going to start tripping over ourselves. We're just going to continuously trip over ourselves. We're going to continue to make the same decisions over and over, and expect something different. It's not going to happen until you're able to sit back and say, okay, let me take a look at what is happening. Because, there is so much beauty and light inside of every one of us, and we don't even recognize it. And the moment that we're able to have that experience of our light, when we can actually see our light, oh my God, this is like the most amazing experience you can have, because it helps.
It scared the crap out of me when it happened the first time. I just want to throw that out there, because Marianne Williamson says we are not afraid of our darkness. We are afraid of our light. And that's so true and so powerful. And we were talking to our producer before this show started, and we were talking about past lives and karma and things that, what you're talking about is centuries old. This is not just about life, this lifetime, where we live in a world where the bravest thing you can do is keep your heart open. The bravest thing you can do in this world is keep your heart open and be in compassion. Yes. And that is why we are in the times that we are in, and that's why they call it the Great Awakening, because more people in this time in humanity are waking up than ever before with the frequencies that are coming in. Yeah. So it is like the crowning of the baby coming. I mean, birthing is messy. Birthing is scary. Birthing is, a whole can of worms, right? So, I mean, we're all feeling that. I'm feeling that big time. I think the biggest thing that I want to convey to people today is, we have been taught to shut ourselves down. We have been told, I mean, when I first did my inner work, I had, 10 by 20 by 10 wood planks nailed across my heart, and then shutters beneath that. And then, I had all kinds of stuff I had to remove, and it didn't all come off at once. It's still coming off. It's still opening up. It's still, evolving, right? But when we look at the past lives and the past history of all of these souls, we are unentrenching ourselves from that to our true power and our true light. And in a nutshell, that's what's going on with humanity, with all of us, right? To one degree or another. Yeah. And it is a time to really try to be open in the adventure of the uncharted territory. Yeah. Because we have been shut down, and we have been killed, and we have gone through lifetimes of being disempowered. So it's in brand new territory.
Yeah, we've played different roles, right, in different lifetimes. And so in this lifetime, we're here to be the light, to assist, right? Now, I go like this and I say, through the darkness, is where we find ourselves as well, right? Going through the darkness to be able to not be in fear of it, but understand that, in the light. So in the light, there is also darkness, because it's the yin and the yang, right? And we need the both, both parts to ebb and flow, right? And so, it's the power of our light frequencies, right? That we are now moving through. So I'm going to say this because I know that this is what I feel that is happening, is a lot of us are feeling a shifting of our frequencies, okay, within our bodies, within our cellular being. And what is happening is that there are many who are in, how would I say, a discomfort, right? Or fear, or pain, or, old stories just coming up, out of nowhere, right? And having to process that. And it's so interesting because it feels like it depends on each individual, right? Because it's going to feel very differently for everyone. If we are in that place of, how would I say, not conscious and not aware of any of it, then we're just going to think that the world is out to get me. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to blame it on somebody else, what's happening to you. And, right. Your experience is going to be so hard because the frequencies that are moving through are frequencies of learning to recognize the who that you are, the true who that you are in your frequency and in your energy that you have negated, over time. And not because you wanted to, but simply because you needed
neglected, berated.
Yes. Yeah.
I could go on and on.
Yeah. And you did it simply because in those times, that's what you needed to do. You didn't have any other resources. And so you did the best you could. And so it's time now to be able to say, hey, I can pull that thread a little bit, and I can start to unstitch that, and I can start to unravel that so that now I can access it. So because I'm stronger now and I know my power, I sit in my power. Yes,
at my own pace. That's important too, right? You're not going to rip the thing and it's going to be spinning like a top into nowhere. You have control.
Yeah. And it's remembering that. And it's to remember that you and only you are in control. Right? Because sometimes we forget and we think, and we're so busy handing our power over to other people. We have to recognize that it's our power. And if we choose to hand over the power, we did that ourselves. And it's okay for us to say, hold on, I'm taking my power back.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm taking my power knowing back. Where your power is. I mean, for me as a medium, when I was working and doing my mentorships, one of the things we learned that I never really gave a lot of thought to was, where is my power right now? Where is it? Have I called my power in? Is my power with me, or is it over in last Tuesday? Did I leave little bits over there? And so, Miss Pam texted me and said, I'm late, but I'm listening, our caller from last week. And I said, well, call in and give us an update. So I don't know if she saw my text or not, but I'd love to get an update to see how she's feeling since you worked with her. So Miss Pammy, if you hear us, we want you to call us in at the last segment so we can talk to you. Yeah. Because I think it's really important what we're diving into, and it's claiming our power back, knowing that we've given it away. And this is, like I said, uncharted territory. It's supposed to feel awkward and weird and strange and new. But there is also an anticipation around it that is exciting. And I think sometimes anxiety and anticipation feel similar, but they are very different. So
what change is something that it brings in a lot of sometimes negative energies, right? Because when we hear the word, because in our lives, most of us, right, have been taught that change, oh my God, change, What does that mean? That means I have to kind of reinvent myself again. That means that I have to start to change every piece and part of me. And it's not true. It's just how you created that belief within you. And so it's important to be able to say, guess what? Yeah, we don't need to do that anymore. It's okay. We can sit in our power.
Yeah.
You know, we can sit in our power.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say that sitting in our power, it may sound very foreign to some people out there. They may wonder, like, what does that even mean? And sometimes I'm curious to say if I'm explaining myself well, because I'm always about 2 steps ahead of myself in everything. So when I speak about power, the one thing that I think of, like, I have a visual, okay? You just close your eyes and you imagine like a butterfly in front of you. And if you imagine one little butterfly coming in, like into your heart space, and this requires visual imagination, but just have fun with it. And then when you imagine like a swarm of butterflies, a collection of butterflies, and each little butterfly coming back to your heart, just fluttering in ever so gently, light and easy breezy. This is just to have fun right now. And you bring in those butterflies until you fill up your heart with a heart shape of butterflies. You imagine each one of those little butterflies is just a little bit of your power or a little bit of your energy that you left over there 20 years ago when you just didn't have it in you to speak up, or you didn't have it in, you know, just gathering that back. If you do that every day, just a little bit, it just starts getting the motions going, the energy flowing. And that's like one of the analogies that I like to share about gathering things back, bringing your energy back to you.
Right? It's integrating, right? It's integrating, right? Or reintegrating, you know, those parts of you, right? That you, because maybe something happened and you got shocked. And in that shock, you moved your, you know, out, right? Like you know, I can say that I have had quite a few out-of-body experiences. You know,
yes,
you know, and many of them, right, is due to, you know, to a shock, right, that I received. And I mean, I just took off. I was not even present, and I recognized that I wasn't present when I landed back in, and I said,
"Flight or flight."
yes, and I landed back in and said, "What? Oh, wait a minute! I didn't even hear that conversation that went on, right? Because
but that was a protection mechanism for you.
Yes, and that was something that I learned right early on, right, in my life, because this is what I needed to do to protect myself from, you know, how would I say, further harm, right? So that's what I did, and that's how I, you know, and then now I have to say that it's about learning that that's what you do, or that's what you used to do, and learning that, oh, hold on, maybe we don't need to do that anymore. Maybe we don't need to, you know, have that experience when we are in that shock place, right? And if we do, then we can call ourselves back, you know, all the scattered parts of us back into self, right? I do that at the end of the evening, you know. In the evening, I call all of me back from all the places I've been, so that I can now put myself to rest and sleep.
I love that. Darling, we got to go to our last break, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to wrap this show up. Miss Pamela may still call in, and we will talk to you in a minute.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. ascendinghearts.com.
Imagine yourself being transported to India, to the banks of the Ganga and an ashram in Rishikesh. Visualize that you are welcome to satsang with an American sannyasi who shares the wisdom of her guru. Your visualization has manifested. Join Sattvi Bhagawati Saraswati for inspiration and transformation every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Coping 19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
With everything going on, there may be times you feel like you can't handle it all. Journaling, meditating, and talking with friends and family can help you feel more grounded and better able to cope. Your kids are also going through a lot of new experiences, and simply talking with them about their feelings can be quite powerful.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Welcome back to Shooting the Shift, and it's just such a strange day, so you're in the right company. So we do have Pam on the line, and she did call us last week, and I asked her to call in and give us an update, and I texted her the wrong phone number. So this is so typical of me and my Gemini rising brain. So Miss Pam, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, Pammy. We want an update. How are you feeling from last week when Marilyn worked with you, and how are you feeling, girl?
I'm doing better. It's a work in process. I tend to be somebody who wants everything yesterday. So patience is not my strong suit. But I'm looking at everything in a more positive light. It's going to be Pollyanna about everything, but it's just in the sense that I'm not going to flip a switch and be a different person tomorrow, if that makes sense.
Well, of course, yes, it's a process, darling. I'm like you. I always say patience is a virtue, but not one of mine. So I've been working on that too. Do you feel like Marilyn got something with the ball rolling for you to start looking at things or feeling things in a different way? Because it's just a baby step, right?
Exactly. And if you set yourself up to expect that light switch to flip instantly, you're setting yourself up. So, I get disappointed that things aren't, picking up really fast. But,
I want to jump in.
Okay.
Is that okay? Because I know that we're on the radio and we have limited time. And is it okay? Is it okay? Because right away I get things and I have to just okay, can I jump in? Is it okay? Okay. Right, because what I'm hearing is this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that this story that you keep telling yourself, right, keeps you in that place of being a hostage, right, in your own body, in your own life. And so the cycle is, right, that you have no power. And this is the story that you continuously say to yourself over and over and over again, that you have no power, that somehow, right, you are powerless, and that you have all these limitations on you, right, and that the world is not a safe place for you, and that it's almost like you're even questioning your how it is that you landed here. Does that make sense? Does any of this that I'm saying make sense to you?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to grasp because when I try to say, I am completely healthy, I'm well, that's not completely true. I'm trying to do more of I invite more health in wellness and happiness every day.
Right,
So
and you're practicing, and I know, and I understand that you are, but what I'm trying to say is that when you practice. Now follow me, okay? Because I'm also working on your energy. So what is happening right now is that the frequency and the vibration are not matching. They're just not matching. So here you are in trying to get, from a frequency into a vibration that is not at the same level. So I want you to understand that it's almost like, if you're tuning into, and I'm going to give you an example. When you received the wrong phone number, right? You couldn't reach us, right? You couldn't reach us, right? Because you were on a different frequency. That was a totally different frequency. So that was spirit also showing you, right? That this is how things are working, right? That if you're on the wrong frequency, right? And let me not say wrong. I'm taking that back. Okay, when you are in a frequency that is not a frequency that is the frequency for you, right? Then you are off and you're showing up with a different vibration, right, in the world. And so what happens is that if you're moving in the right direction, but there's a part of you that has to truly believe that this is happening and that it is happening for you. That it is happening for you in every given moment of your life. If that makes sense, I want you to feel that, right? Because feeling that current and feeling that frequency is what needs to happen in this space right now, right? You need to be able to feel the power, right? Feel your power, right? Not somebody else's power, but your power in this space, in this time, and in this dimension. That you are really a powerful, sacred woman. Somehow along the line, you lost track of that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have had our experiences there, and we're all trying to reach that, that space, where we feel more whole in this lifetime, right? So it's important, right, for us to be able to stay in the frequency, right, that is right for us. And I want you to understand that when you are in the frequency that really isn't matching up with the vibration, you're going to know it, like, really quickly. Because, and I think that maybe, I want to say maybe a couple of days ago, you probably had that experience, but you probably then said, oh, no, never mind. You know what I mean? It was like that kind of like negated because, it just came through and all of a sudden it wasn't real, but it was real, right? Because you understood that you were saying, this is what I'm wanting and I'm doing this because I want this. But at the same time, now you're moving and your energy's moving in there. But then you came back with but it's never going to be for me, or it's never going to happen for me. And listen to what I'm saying. You didn't say it out loud. You did not say it out loud, but you said it in your inner voice. You said that to yourself. And I want you to recognize when you are, when you are communicating in that way, right? That you're able to say, it's okay. It's all right. Oh, I did that again. Isn't that something? Wow. Yeah. Right? Because we have a tendency we have patterns, and those patterns, right, create this new, this old way of doing things. It's automatic. We go there automatically. It's like an automatic push, right? That's the slide we go on, right? But we can always learn, and it's going to take time. Right. It is going to take time because we didn't get here overnight. We just didn't. It took years of collecting and practicing, and now we have to just continue to practice surrendering, right? To offload the excess baggage, those false truths, those false truths, those things that we believed were real and truthful, and they aren't, and they never were. It just soothed us at the time. It just helped us to get through a cycle. And it's okay because it served this purpose. And we can say, thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping me in that time when I needed it. Thank you so much. You can say that to the energy, right? And then thank it and then let it go. It's okay. We can just say, and I don't need to process that way anymore because I have a new way. And my new way is going to help me to expand. And we're going to expand together. And we are just going to feel the power, right, of who we truly are in this lifetime.
Okay. But I think I tend to go to my list of what's wrong. You know, I think I should, you know, back.
Say that again, Pam. You do what to get? Where did I go wrong? Say that.
I go to my list of what is wrong and what I need to fix, and I kind of
what is wrong and what you need to fix. Yeah.
What is okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but let's think about this. When you're in that process, right? You're already starting on the process that there's something so wrong that I can't fix it. You know what I mean? Like this is, and I'm only reading the energy, right? I'm only reading the energy. I could be wrong. I'm just saying that this is how I'm picking it up, right? It feels like, it's okay for us to understand that there's, that we are maybe managing certain things in a way that aren't serving us for our highest and greatest good, right? Or our highest and greatest outcome. And it's okay for us to recognize them and for us to say, okay, so I understand that when I do this, this is the result. So now how can I flip that a little bit? Let me change that. Let me shift that a little bit and make it so that it is more of a positive outcome for me. Because what I'm choosing to do is to receive, right, more and more of my light so that I can recognize the power of who I am.
Right.
I have to say it's very interesting, Marilyn, because as you're doing this work with Pamela, and I know you're doing your energy stuff, I'm actually seeing a ballerina, and I'm seeing like this dance. It's a very delicate dance, and it's like every time you change that frequency, like Marilyn's saying, and you change that thought, you kind of go, that ballerina puffs up a little bit. And she gets elevated a little bit, and then she comes back down, and then she comes back to the next thought and the pattern of changing the frequency. It's like a fine dance, and I see it happening. I see it going up. It's really quite beautiful. That's how I'm being shown what's happening with you.
Yeah, and you never land in the same place. So that's the important part, right? That's the important part. Because sometimes what happens is we tend to believe that we have not moved, that we are still in the same space, that nothing has changed. And maybe it's about journaling, all the changes and all the things that you're seeing in your life that are different now than they were before, so that you can see how much you have shifted and how much is currently changing because you are being present and because you are being very aware and conscious of your belief system, right? This is all beautiful, right? But it's recognizing, right, that you are expanding. It's just that you can't see the whole, you can't see all of it, right? Because it's happening so slowly in a way that you can't see the whole picture, right?
Gradual.
It's very gradual. So the shifting is taking place. And I think that it's important for you to celebrate that, to celebrate when you're feeling so good. Celebrate that. Celebrate that when you decide, oh, you know what? My goodness, I would have done this, but I didn't because I recognized that it wasn't serving me. Celebrate that. That's a moment. That's a moment that, and it matters. It matters because that energy, when you start to celebrate it, it's like it kicks up the frequency in such a way where it's giving it more momentum. Right? And that's what you want. You want to increase the momentum of the shifting of the frequencies, right? So that you can shift into your own, right? The frequency that belongs to you, right?
Yeah. It's like it's making a new habit. But,
yes.
You don't make a new habit in one day. You have to
it takes
build every day.
Yes, it takes time. And then we have to be kind and compassionate and gentle with ourselves. We cannot be,
I've been doing better with that because before I would just come out and say, "Oh, dumbass, what did you do that for?"
No. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
celebrating you. So I'm celebrating you. I am celebrating you.
Well,
Because
listen, we only have a minute. We're going to get cut off, darling. So I'm so sorry to be the one that has to cut this off. But
That's fine. Thank you so much.
I'm
You're
so
welcome.
glad you called in, and I see you landing every single time in new territory, no matter how small it is. So it's really good. I love that visual for you, Pamela.
Oh, thank you. Thank you both so much.
thank you. Thank you for calling.
in. Yes. So, thank you so much,
Yes.
darling. All right. So we got through the show today, and this is the last show of January.
Yes.
And of Shooting the Shift. And we will be back in February. And we hope that you'll be brave and write that number down and call in, because our goal is always to help you and to serve spirit and to serve all of us in
Yes.
bouncing up in those frequencies.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Peace and blessings, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.